Hello everyone, welcome back to this series. In this series, I'll show you how to read in CSV file. Remember in the previous video, I showed you how to read in the contents of the text file, and we had a convenient function that pretty much did all the work for us. We use read a text file. So there is really no such function for CSV file to read. If you look through the functions in the Deno runtime docs, you don't find any CSV files to read. So we are going to have to get our hands a little dirtier this time. Let's get back to our Visual Studio Code. Now let's go ahead and import join this is to join the directories of the file from http Denoland website and again from the standard library. We'll be importing it from the standard library. Path .ts. See, here is my sample CSV data, metadata.csv, which have been downloaded from the kaggle.com, which is open source. Even you guys can go ahead and download this data set from here. This is the sample data which I have been downloaded. This is freely available data set which is being provided by the global research community. You will get to see all the columns and fields over here, which is what I have downloaded. Let's create an asynchronous function to do our job. Async let me name the function as read CSV data. Okay, let me call out this function. Good. Let me read this file. This is the method to read the metadata CSV file from the same directory. This is the syntax. So we are in the same directory. So we'll have to open this file which I have been discussed in the previous video already. Data this is how we read the file. Okay, our next step is going to be import another module. So we are going to import this buffer reader. I'll explain you what is this buffer reader. Import no, this is not the one. So this time we'll be importing from the IO, again from the standard library and from the IO. From buffio.ts. Cool. You might be thinking what this buffer reader does. If we go back to our Denoland website we can see there is a standard library over here, and if we scroll down to the Hybo module and click on mod.ts file that we talked about earlier, we can actually see the link to view the documentation of this module. Let's check it out. So if we scroll down, we can see the buff reader class over here. Click on that. You see here buff reader implements buffering for the reader object. So what's buffering? Buffering is just holding on to the data for a little bit before we using it. So instead of sending data back byte by byte as it's being read, we send back, for example, a whole line of data at a time. And this is fairly common thing in any programming language that you might have been come across, and we can also see that there is a bunch of methods that this class supports. So we can see we can set the size of the buffer, we can read from it, we can even read a whole line of data from it, by using this. So let's get back to our code. We are just going to create a new buffer reader from our file. Let me name this as buff reader is equal to new I'll be passing this data. Okay, cool. And we are going to use another library to consume this buffer reader and parse the CSV file, that is import parse from https Deno land, this time again from the standard library, from encoding csv.ts. And we are going to pass this function to the parse or buffer reader. Let's take a look at this module with the standard library documentation. Oh, here we have encoding. Oh, here csv.ts. Let's go ahead and check for the documentation. And you see the parse function. This has got input string and the buffer reader. Let me go ahead and click on this parse option. So we have the header boolean set and the parse input unknown. So you'll get to see the interface read options and the property. In the CSV file you'll get to see the header and then comment on all those things. You can set all those things in by using this parse options. So we want to make sure that, so let's get back to our code. Let me recheck this. Okay, good. So we want to make sure that once you open the file, we want to close this file. I'll show you what is the syntax for that. Where is the open? Yeah, Deno.open. You see here, once you open the file, you'll have to close this file. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Let me close this and let's go ahead and parse this file. Constant result. Let me set this output as result and await parse the buffer reader data. Okay, let me set the options. Header as true, comment this is how we pass the input for the header, the boolean object, and just now I showed you sometime back. See here, where is that? See the input string, boolean, and then parse options, read options, the comment, and all those things. See the comment, you will have to set those properties. Okay, let me console the output, say result. I have console log the result. So let me save this. Let me correct the syntax. I see some error over here. Cannot find Deno. Okay, let me save this file and run. Deno run, and still we need to pass this allow read option, allow read flag. Okay, that's because we'll have to change this to data, save and rerun. It's taking some time for the compilation process and all those, since we'll have to convert this JavaScript file to TypeScript file to JavaScript file, and then it will be sending to the V8 engine. It takes quite of time for that to process. Let's wait. So it looks like Deno has read a whole lot of data from our export data. We can see that all of this data is in CSV file and we have been exported as an objects. Another thing to note here is that all of the data is being written as a string, right? Yep. So we have successfully imported the data from the metadata CSV, and let's explore more in the next video. Thank you guys, thanks for watching. Please do not hesitate to post your questions in the comment section. I'll help you out. Thank you. Please do like and share my channel. See you in the next one.